Hello, beautiful people. Nice to meet you today. In this episode, we will talking about build a network. Our guest today, Cristina Costa. Let's say happy weekend, and Cristina, nice to have you today. I'm so happy and pleased to having you today in this episode. My advice to you guys to grab your pen and paper close. Let's say happy weekend, and Christina, mic is yours to introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Musab, for this invitation.
Welcome.
I'm really excited to be here. Hi, everybody. My name is Cristina Costa. I'm a career and empowerment coach, founder of Cristina Costa Coaching, where I help Black and Brown job seekers really find the careers and jobs of their dreams, as well as their salaries. I'm also leading the career program at a nonprofit called Parachute Bridge, which is where I met Musab. And what we do is we provide a career training program for first generation college graduates and young professionals, and really helping people understand their strengths and skills and find the best career paths for them. And networking is honestly the most important piece
Mhm.
of the job search, which is why I'm so excited to come here and speak about it.
We too. Okay, so let's start our conversation with what's a network, as well what's the types of network.
Yeah, of course. So your network, every single person has a network, meaning
Yeah.
they have a group of people that know
Mhm.
them, whether that's family,
Mhm.
friends of family,
Mhm.
maybe the school that you went to, your teachers, maybe a
Okay.
camp that you were a part of.
Mhm.
So honestly, every single person has so many different networks,
Mhm.
whether that's personal, professional, extracurricular activities, maybe you play sports, right? There's a lot of different networks that we have, but it comes down to how are we connecting with these networks, and how are we
Okay.
staying in connection with some of these networks. So that's essentially what a network is.
So, as Christina mentioned, guys, your network, who you meet regularly, and people around you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, on my side, Christina, if someone asks me about my network, I will take a break and searching out about the categories of my network. So, should we categorize them?
Yeah, so essentially it depends what it is that you're looking for, right? If
Hmm.
you're looking for job opportunities, then maybe
Hmm.
you would want to start, reaching out to maybe older family friends who have more of a professional network, or maybe even to your school or university network to see if they can connect you with any possible employers or opportunities. But if you're looking for, I don't know, maybe you want to an event and you're looking for a space to have a party, right? Like that's a completely different need. So you would reach out to maybe your family's network, or friends that you know that plan parties, right? It depends what it is that you're looking for. But it is really important to always remember to start with your network. I think a lot of people, especially on the job search, they just start applying to jobs randomly online without first seeing within their networks if there are any opportunities, or if anyone in their network knows of an opportunity. Because
Okay.
as you probably know, Musab,
Hmm.
referrals
Yeah.
and being referred is the number one way to get hired.
Hmm. Okay. So, categorize our network will help us to find opportunities easily, as you
Yeah.
said. Okay.
Yeah.
So, in this episode, we want to come up with tips to help us in building a strong and successful network. So,
Yeah.
firstly, how could we define our network as strong or weak?
Oh, great. So strong or weak networks. I really do think, again, this depends on what it is that you're looking for, right? I think every single person, as I mentioned before, has a network. And I think you have a strong network if you are in connection with many of these people, and you still keep in touch with people, and you still follow up with people. And that doesn't mean you have to talk to every single person in your network every day, right? Or even every week or every month. But, especially if you maybe have a mentor that you don't speak to very often, like send them an email every now and then and just see how they're doing. Or professor or a teacher that you want to stay in contact with because you had a really good relationship with them. You may want to send them, a Christmas, email or like check on them on their birthday, right? So it's not necessarily strong or weak networks. It really depends on how much effort and intentionality you put with it. So definitely recommend for people, especially those who may be looking to shift in their careers or are on the job search, to really take a look at who it is that you know and who it is that you know that may have connections or opportunities that you're looking for. So I don't think there's necessarily such thing as a weak network. I really think it has to do with how you are communicating with them and staying in touch and making sure that you're not losing all of those connections.
Now, Christina, we know what the image of a strong network has, well, weak network. So, how could we build a strong one? As you mentioned, this question depends on what people expecting from their network.
Okay. Well, again, building a strong network depends on what it is that you are trying to do, right? So you need to have a strong focus first. You need to understand what it is that you're looking for. But one thing I always recommend, and I teach a lot of my clients, are especially now when we are in a pandemic, a lot of people are not meeting in person anymore. Everybody's meeting online. Really important to have a strong online presence. So having a LinkedIn profile, that's something I'm always going to talk about is the importance of having an up-to-date, accurate LinkedIn profile, and making sure that it's representing you in a way that you want people to know about you. So say, for example, you are a teacher, but maybe you're looking to move into, let's say, digital marketing, right? You're trying to make a career shift. You don't want to market yourself on LinkedIn as a teacher. You want to start marketing yourself as a digital marketer, right? You want to start showing that you maybe have some social media certifications, or maybe you have experience using HubSpot or Hootsuite or any other tools in social media. So you really want to be intentional about how you are presenting yourself online. Also, being intentional about the groups that you're a part of. Let's just use this example again. If I want to go into digital marketing, I probably want to join some digital marketing groups on LinkedIn, or maybe find a community of digital marketers and start networking there, and just being very intentional about who it is that I'm learning from, who it is that I'm meeting, who I'm inviting to join into my network, and vice versa. So I think creating a strong network first comes down to knowing yourself, knowing what you want, right? What do you want to do next? And then being really intentional about finding people in those spaces. So LinkedIn, for sure, having an up-to-date LinkedIn profile, having any certifications or skills on there that you want people to know about you, having a strong about summary on your LinkedIn profile is really important as well, because it's your story. It's your opportunity to tell the world your story, as well as your skills and what value you provide. So really being intentional about your online presence, who you're reaching out to, and what groups you're a part of, and making sure that you're also communicating in those groups and reaching out to people.
Absolutely, Christina, as you mentioned, when you want to build a strong network, you have to know who you are firstly.
Yeah. And you're really good at that, Musab. You have been building an awesome network.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So, Christina, may I ask you about your network? Do you think your network is strong enough? And I'm curious about what the strategy you follow to build your network.
Yeah, that's an awesome question. So, you know what's funny, Musab, is all my friends here, they always call me the in America we have a term called the plug. The plug means the connector. And that's kind of who I've always been. I'm just naturally an outgoing, extroverted person, and I love meeting new people. It's kind of one of my favorite things to do in the world, is to meet new people. So I do have to say that is kind of a gift that I have, that I know not a lot of people have.
Yeah.
so, so for me, Musab, I think building my network has really just come really authentically to me. So I know the things that I stand for and the things that I care about, and I really care about diversity, equity, and inclusion. I really care about women's rights. I really care about empowering especially Black and brown young professionals on the job search. I really care about making this world a more equitable place for everyone. So those are the things I care about. And so all the people I've really met along the way have been either through events that have to do with those causes. I also led a nonprofit organization for women of color for 5 years, where I met so many amazing leaders and women in those spaces. I've done a lot of public speaking events on those types of topics. I'm also very passionate about getting more people into tech, especially Black and brown people into the tech industry. So for me, my network has really come kind of organically because I just love those types of spaces. So I'm always in those spaces, meeting people, sharing my knowledge, sharing other people's knowledge. That's another thing I recommend
You
people
always
do.
do, Christina.
I'm always doing.
Yeah.
That's how you know me, Musa. That's probably how you even found me. But
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
always sharing things with my networks that I find useful, like things that, maybe programs or scholarship opportunities or jobs or whatever it is that I think people could find useful. I always share that. So that's something I recommend to people too. It's a great way to build network is by sharing not just your own content and your own information, but other people's information that could be useful or that you're interested in. And I guarantee you, if you start sharing other people's information, they will start sharing yours. That's just kind of how it works. It's like karma, right? You give out good karma, you'll get it back. So for me, it's been very much just always being an advocate for others and always sharing. And then now people kind of do the same for me. And then now people reach out to me for these kind of things all the time because they see that I'm always posting about this and I'm always sharing this kind of information. So I've started to build like a following, but really that's where it came from.
So after we finish building our network, Christina, we have to practice the networking. So what does it mean exactly, and what the strategies of networking?
Yeah, no, that's a really great question. So
Thank you.
once I would recommend first and foremost coming from a place of curiosity. And also where you can provide some value. I've gotten a lot of messages, many, many, many messages on LinkedIn with people who are trying to sell me things, or they want they want me to look at their resume, or they want me to refer them to a job. And what people need to remember is you have to try to empathize and think about what the person on the other end is going to feel when they get your message, right? So if you send someone a message that's just like, hey, like I want to work at your company, here's my resume, think about if you're that other person on the other end of the line, and they're like, okay, this person just wants me to do work, right? This person just wants me to review their resume and send it over to someone, and I don't even know them, and there's really no sense of relationship there. It's very much transactional. And that's something you want to avoid when you're doing networking, because no one wants to feel like they are being used, right? No one likes to feel like someone is just using them for their connection or using them for their skills. People want to feel validated. People want to feel respected and supported, and they want to get some value. So maybe next time, instead of sending a message like that to someone you want to meet or learn from, maybe you could look a little into their profile, see what they're interested in. Maybe they have a podcast, right? Who knows? I'm just making something up. But let's say they have a podcast. Let's say, Musab, I reach out to you. And I'm like, hey, Musab, I saw that you have a really awesome podcast, and I've learned so many skills from listening to one of your episodes. I would love to maybe be featured one day on your podcast. I do resume writing, and I think I would be a great asset to your podcast. Do you have some time to connect next week? Right? That's a very different message than, hey, Musab, can I be on your podcast? And that's it, right? So I think really, really showing the person that you're reaching out to that you've learned a little bit about them, that you've put in the effort to get to know them a little. And then, of course, to send something of value. So not just asking for things and asking for someone to look at your resume or refer you or whatever it is, but actually giving some value. And I think that's been really, really, really helpful for me when networking.
Okay, brilliant. Okay. Okay. As you know, Christina, the network's land of opportunities. So, how we could hunt them?
Yeah. So I would say, I'm always saying this in class, and I think Musab, you remember, I'm always like, your
Mm-hmm.
network is
Yeah,
your net
yeah.
worth,
Mm-hmm.
right? Your network is your net worth. And the reason I say that
Mm-hmm.
is because you never know
Mm-hmm.
what you just never know what your next, the next person you meet, you never know what opportunity they may have for
Mm-hmm.
you, right? And you may
Yeah.
never know, who they may be able to connect you with and really change your career or your personal life or
Mm-hmm.
anything. So I would say, in terms of looking for opportunities, um,
Mm-hmm.
and when you say opportunities, Musab, do you mean like job opportunities? What do you mean?
Yeah, yeah. Opportunities. Yeah.
Job opportunities? Yeah. So I always tell my clients, for example, don't just look for a role, right? You want to find a company or organization that you feel really strongly about, that you're really interested in, and that you think you can really make a difference at. Because at the end of the day, if you just apply to any role without doing research,
Mm-hmm.
you're most likely not going to be happy there because you haven't done enough research. You don't care enough about the company. Maybe you don't care about the mission or the product or whatever it may be. So, what I recommend is coming up with the type of companies, maybe a list that
Mm-hmm.
you are really interested in, and then starting to look at, who at those companies can you start speaking with. So, for example, say you're looking to get into a role. Let's do the digital marketing again, right? Let's say you want to work in digital marketing and you at an education tech company, right? Like, you're really interested in education and you want to do digital marketing for education. So to do is start looking at some education tech companies, seeing which ones you really like. Maybe you really like
Mm-hmm.
their product or
Yeah,
their
yeah.
culture, or you have a friend that works there and you know that it's a great place to work or whatever it may be. So
Mm-hmm.
I would recommend in that case to reach out to someone on the digital marketing team or on the marketing team. And even if they don't have a job posting, you never know if they're hiring because 70% of jobs are never even posted. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people don't realize that, right? So having those conversations, reaching out to maybe the marketing manager or maybe someone on the marketing team and just saying, hey, I was looking through your profile. I saw that you worked on the last marketing campaign for this company. And I really loved your ideas with using, I don't know, tech products for education. And I'm really interested in digital marketing for your company. And I'd love to hear about your experience there. Do you have
Mm-hmm.
maybe 20 minutes to connect? Right? So having those kind of conversations is really crucial because who knows? You may have that conversation with the person and they may say something like, hey, we're not hiring right now, but
Mm-hmm.
we are going to be hiring for a digital marketing specialist in the next couple of months. And I'll make sure to keep you in mind. Right? So those kind of reasons are how you can find opportunities because a lot of people, like I said
Mm-hmm.
before, don't realize that most jobs are never even posted. So the 30% that
Mm-hmm.
you're fighting for, everyone else is fighting for those jobs, right? But
Okay.
if you're networking effectively, then you don't have to fight for those jobs because they'll reach out to you for those jobs.
Okay, I love 2 points you mentioned. I want to paint them. So when we want to our network, we have to know who we are exactly, and also using kinds and clear words and networking or participating networking will help us. So for people who already have a network, so how could they evaluate their network?
How can they evaluate the network they have?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say again, break it down into tiers, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
what opportunities are you looking for, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you know that you're looking for job opportunities, then maybe, and like somewhat what your family works in or what your friends work in, you can decide, okay, do I have people in my network that could help me with this? Do I have people in my network who know other marketers or who work in marketing, right? And you would start there first. So first you have to
Okay.
just assess what it is that you
Mm-hmm.
are looking for, right? So you mentioned knowing yourself, knowing what you want to focus on, knowing what direction you want to go into is super important.
Right.
And then once you know that, really looking at your network, and I mean, you can even write it down in a list. I tell people, write down a list of, 30 people that you know in your network. And that includes, like I said, your family, your friends, family friends. That can include, teachers, people in your educational network, people in your friendship network. I mean, so many different things that are involved here. So you could write it down, figure out, okay, maybe I have 5 or 6 people in my network who could really help me with this. And then reach out to them and reach out and be very honest in your message, and make sure that you are also sincere in your message and saying, I hope you are doing well, and I hope this message finds you well, and sending all of my good wishes and good energy. And I want to just let you know I'm looking for these kind of opportunities. And if you know anyone that's hiring or know any of company that's would be looking for this kind of a role, please let me know. Right. So just being very sincere and authentic. And then making sure you write down, like, who is in your network, who do you have, right, and who are you missing maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So,
So, listing and breaking down your network will help you to find your direction easily.
Yes, exactly. So definitely writing it down too. That's very important. Is actually like having it written down somewhere so you can visualize those names and really think about, okay, who do I know that could really help me here?
great, great. Okay. As example of good networking, Christina and I found each other through Miss Liana, if you remember that,
Yeah.
Christina. So I'm so proud to know someone like you.
Oh, thank you. And it's been a pleasure getting to know you, Musab. And I'm so excited to see all of the work that you've been putting into helping people in the community, especially job seekers. Like, I'm very excited to be part of your journey. So I appreciate you for inviting me.
Thank you, Christina.
Christina, could you give us tips for effective networking?
I would just say for informational interviews, like once you get on a call with someone that you're trying to network with, make sure that you come prepared to the call with a few open-ended questions, and also just a really good attitude, because people are there because they want to be there. They don't have to be there, right? So you want to make sure that you make good use of that time, but that you're also not, it's not an interview, right? An informational interview is really just a conversation to get to know this person and for them to get to know you. So don't feel like you have to come prepared to an informational interview with like a resume and all your stuff, because it's really just a way to build a relationship authentically. So I would say, definitely come with some questions that you have, but don't feel super pressured that it's like an interview. Really be casual with it. Have a few open-ended questions. Make sure you've done a little research on the person before you show up, and definitely try to make it feel as natural and conversational as possible.
See.
Sadly, guys, this will be our last terminal in this episode, but we have a lot of interesting things for you. Stay close for upcoming episodes. Thank you so much, Christina, for your priceless time. And Mike, is yours again to tell us about your current activities and how we could participate.
Definitely. I'm always taking on new clients. I'm always looking for people who are on the job search, especially those who are really lost on the job search, who maybe are, they're not happy in their current jobs and their current careers. They're really looking to make a change. They don't know where to start. I'm really happy to work with those kind of clients because I've been there before. I have definitely been there. I know what that's like. And I've learned so much through my own experiences that I'd love sharing with other people. So if anyone is, lost on the job search or looking to transition into tech, because that's something I'm very passionate about. If you're a person who's looking to transition from your industry into the tech industry, please make sure to look me up. You can find me on LinkedIn. I hope, Musab, you'll share my LinkedIn, my LinkedIn with everyone. And then, of course, like, you can always reach out as well via email. My email is Cristina@ccostacoaching.com. And I'm always responding to people and helping as much as I can. So I hope, I hope people that find this useful and helpful, and definitely reach out if they need any more assistance on the job search.
Thank you, Christina. And guys, I hope this was helpful for you. And also, I will leave Christina's links in description.